You done?
I'm done.
Hi everyone, my name's James Ivy.
I'm Paul Drew.
From the Studio Rats.
Oh yes.
Another week, another delivery of goodies from GAV Studio.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? So James has, well, you're a bit in disarray at the moment, aren't you? Because your new studio isn't built yet. So you've got a load of stuff in storage.
Mm-hmm. And a load of stuff that's out of storage but piled up and not working.
Yeah, which is true. So when I came out to your studio before, you've got this red amplifier which looks quite lovely, and I never really get a chance to play through it because when I come out to your studio,
we have an agenda, don't we?
Exactly. Yeah. And I've always, well, to be honest, this amp is included with the Universal Audio plugin. One of the plugins that you can buy for the Universal Audio Apollo system is the Chandler GAV
19T.
Can I call it GAV?
No, you can't.
Okay.
I refuse.
Okay. So today we're going to be trying it out.
So a bit of backstory.
Yep.
I had a original JCM 800, the 100-watt head.
Lovely, yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
But I think it's fairly safe to say a one-trick pony.
Yes.
It makes a great noise, but it's one noise.
Yeah.
And the opportunity came up to buy one of these, and I thought, it's a lot of money because it was a new one. It came from distribution, and it was a fairly new thing. And I thought, you know what? I need something that's a bit more varied, a bit more studio friendly. Obviously, a 100-watt head is not studio friendly.
Without doubt.
This is 19 watts, although it's the loudest 19 watts you've ever heard.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? I'll get it. And I sold the JCM 800 at a really bad time. The Marshall prices were at rock bottom, and I got nothing for it. Like a year later, it would have been over £1,000.
Oh yeah, definitely.
However, I thought we had a question on the live stream last week about it, and we said, no, I'll bring it over and we'll have some fun with it. Yeah. And you'd never played it, and I've used it on a few sessions, and I really like it. It is one of my 3 go-to amps.
Right.
If you count the Synergy as one amp, which you kind of can't. But
yeah.
So we've set it up with what Paul is going to refer to as a clean on the verge of breakup tone.
So it sounds like this. Really nice. It's really responsive, actually.
I always get upset when I bring gear to somebody else who's better than me because they make my gear sound better.
Well, I'm not going to come around to yours and play drums, am I? Do you know what I mean?
That is true. So it's a non-master reverb, not non-master volume amp.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if we just have a look at
which is probably why it feels so reactive.
Yeah. It's a very odd amp to set up. It's not something you can consider conventional. You've got on, off, standby. Then you've got 2 modes, normal and intense. Think of these as kind of clean and dirty.
Should we try that first? So,
yep.
So now we've gone into Vox territory, but basically dimed. That sort of bright, glassy, chimey, as it were.
Chandler very much pitched this as a boutique-y English style vintage valve head. So think Selmer, think Vox, think Plexi to a certain extent.
Yep. It does
because there is lots of variation in it, which is why when we were talking about the Marshalls, I wasn't interested in the Plexi because I've got that. I think I've got as close to that kind of Marshall Plexi kind of Voxy Selmery sound in this amp.
Okay.
Which is really cool. So we start off in this here drive section. Now you've got 2 sections, that boost and tone. You need to have tone kicked in a little bit to get the boost section to work.
Well, to choose the tone. To choose.
So we've got out, treble boost, thick, aggressive and mids. I tend to leave it in kind of thick or treble boost so it can cut through a mix.
Yep.
If I wind the drive up though, Now remember, that's still in normal mode. If we go into intense mode,
Well, then. Sounds awesome.
it's starting to get...
I always say things sound awesome, but that does sound great, doesn't it?
It really does. Now, what's very cool is that because it's a non-master volume,
Yeah.
everything is driving hard through the power tubes.
Okay.
So if I wind in now the bass...
Could you turn the gain down a little bit on
Yes,
the boost?
that's pretty...
What's that? What have you just done there?
That's gone from the intense mode into the normal mode.
Okay.
But if I wind in the treble and the bass, it's probably quite thick on the bass side of things.
Yeah.
I'll bring that back a bit. But we then have the last section is the input and the bias section.
Right.
Now, biasing on the fly, I think this is the only amp that I know can do it in such a simple, straightforward way.
A lot of fuzz pedals, you can. The reason why fuzz sounds like different types of fuzz is the change of the bias. So, it'd be interesting to hear. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to hear this.
So that's bias all the way back to position 1.
Okay. Which is really sort of responsive. Really nice. Really like that. So as you turn the bias up, it's compressing more. It's fuzzing a little bit more.
I'd call it that kind of amp, saggy, kind of flubby, kind of sort of sound. if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, again, because there's no master volume,
Yeah.
the harder you drive the input, the more juice we get.
So now we're getting really sort of fuzzy.
I've kicked that into intense mode, so you get that real rock and roll Marshall growl now.
Yeah.
You can hear it is getting a bit noisier.
Yeah.
I think that could be because we're on single coil pickups, which probably isn't helping.
No.
But
Yeah,
this,
but that is cranked.
it's well, it's not quite dimed, but it ain't far off.
Yeah. That's.
It's giving it some. I mean, if I click the boost all the way up.
Love it.
It's a great amp.
Yeah.
Now, I've always insisted this is not a pedal-friendly amp.
You have always said that.
One of the main reasons I bought the Marshall, the Baby Marshall, and the Synergy is because I wanted something that was a bit more pedal platform friendly. I know I had the Rev for a while, never really got on with that. To
I
be
thought
honest,
that was really pedal friendly.
yeah, it is. But to me, it didn't have enough of its own flavour
No,
to
definitely.
make it an interesting amp for the collection. You know,
Yeah.
the Synergy stuff is way more versatile because obviously you can take the.
Sure.
But this, I didn't think was very pedal friendly. Rather frustratingly, my friend Mr. Drew here has been messing around with some pedals at the front, and it sounds amazing.
Should we let's put in a so let's go from sort of different gain stages. So if I put a boost before it, actually, the sound of the amp without pedal. So put a boost in front. It's got a nice. It compresses the front end nicely. you my BB preamp. Tube screamer. That's the pedal that works with this. It is so funny, like you try out different pedals into different amps and you go, oh, that pedal really suits that amp. And I don't normally go for tube screamers, but that. Brilliant.
It's really helping it cut through, isn't it?
Lastly, let's put in a Thorpe Peacekeeper. Now this is my most, or the pedal that I've set to the most gain. Love it. It's great, isn't it? What a great amp.
I need to stop bringing stuff around that you really like, don't I?
You can leave it around here if you want. It's nice.
No, because that spot is taken, but more on that soon.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was a little bit of, what's the word? Indulgence on our part, but hey, we're allowed from time to time.
Absolutely. Yeah, nice.
So, Chandler GAV 19T. The thing that got me into this amp originally was using the UA plugin.
Really, isn't that funny? Because I'm not a big fan of that at all.
Which is funny. I tried it and went, this is cool, because I liked the variation in control. It's not just gain, volume, and EQ.
Yeah.
You've got some other stuff in there to play with, which I really like.
They're quite rare, these amps, so if you can get hold of one.
They don't appear on the auction sites very often. They don't appear in the second-hand market very often. So I don't think there are that many.
I don't think there are.
In the world.
No, I think you did a good job buying one of them.
It could have been that little moment of genius on my part.
Who knows?
So, really hope you enjoyed that, our moment of self-indulgence and all that sort of thing. If you did, please like, subscribe, hit the bell. All that stuff we ask you to do, it really does help us out. But for now, my name's James Ivy.
I'm Paul Drew.
From the Studio Rats, and we will see you again very soon.